My name is Adriana Trigiani, and I'm the author of Encore Valentine, which is out right now. My best man friend, Michael Patrick King, we've been friends for 20 years. We met as writers on a show called Good Sports, starring Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal. And we've just been great, great buds ever since. And he's the writer and the director of Sex and the City, and was the same for the show, also produces it. And it's been a really great thing to see such a close friend have such a major impact in terms of entertainment on the culture. It's really, really exciting because we would be happy writing our plays and poetry in a closet, never showing them to anyone. But the fact that Michael kind of has figured out how to create something that is so massive, so brilliant, and crosses so many cultures is is really a phenomenon. And last night at the premiere, it was so exciting to get out of the car and then to walk and see him being interviewed and go into the theater where there was this sellout crowd of expected, audience members, and then to just watch them sigh and breathe and just be thrilled by it and laugh like crazy and shed a tear. I mean, it's a magnificent thing. And he just lived up to everything that he tried to set out to do. He did it. I've seen the movie 3 times, and I love the movie. I love what it says about relationships. I love the music. I love the acting. I love the girls. I think the men are incredible in it. The women are incredible in it. And I think it has a lot to say about life after we kind of get what we want, and how do we reinvent it, and how do we shake things up, and how you never really know what's around the corner. But mostly what I love about it is that it's pure escapist fun for women, and it certainly was for me. Well, since I'm so close to Michael, anything of a non-sexy nature was fascinating to him. It's really interesting to me that Brady's the same age as my daughter, because when I was pregnant, so was Miranda on the series, and Michael would just come down all the time for ideas, and then it was a lot of, now what does the baby do when the baby's 2? What's happening when she's 4? What happens when they're 8? He would go in and out and ask a lot of questions because he's not a parent. And there are 2 storylines really stick out in my mind that really were inspired by my complete and utter depression and devastation. And one of them is that I hate to go on vacation. And this is really very, very hard for my husband. And so I made a vow I wasn't going to ruin vacation by being dour. So I went in the woods. You call it holiday here. I went in the woods and called Michael on the cell phone and just said, I'm terrible at this. I should not have a traditional life. I can't make my husband happy. I can't make my family happy. And then I saw it on the show. And then another one is he took my laser eye surgery, which I had 10 years ago, for myopia, which is nearsightedness, and he took the tape. And then it was done on the show, but it wasn't about not needing to wear glasses anymore. Michael took that incident in my life and turned it into, what are you looking at? What do you really see when you look in your life? So he'll take something that seems so unrelated, obtuse, ridiculous, and brings meaning to it. I think that is where he's completely a genius. Well, this is very interesting because Michael, the last thing I wanted to do was write about shoes in New York, because you instantly think of Sex and the City. But here's what was interesting. Michael said this to me. He said, your take on this is going to be very different. I never wanted to write contemporary novels, but I found that I loved doing it once I started. And it was really a lot with his encouragement that I tackled this, because in his mind, Sex and the City isn't about shoes, it's about the bonds of female friendship. And in my book, in the Valentine books, in Very Valentine and Encore Valentine, it's not just about handcrafting beautiful shoes, it's about passing down traditions and handcrafting really the tradition and the legacy that you're going to leave grandmother to granddaughter. So once I was sort of freed that I was doing something that seemed to have been done, or then I was really free to create something wonderful. And in fact, my characters are the people that make things. And then perhaps it would be for the character Carrie Bradshaw or somebody else to enjoy wearing them, but I come from working people who make the product, so that's what's interesting to me to write about. If Valentine had to choose between Big or Aiden, I think she would choose Aiden because I think Valentine is destined to be a mother. And I also think that Valentine would not be happy living uptown. She'd want to live in the village. And I think Aiden, who makes furniture, would be more to her liking. And I would also say that he's not living a big fancy life. And I think when you're in finance or banking, I think you have to sometimes live a big fancy life. And I think Valentine doesn't really want that. Well, if the Angelini Shoe Company were going to make Carrie Bradshaw a pair of shoes, you know first that they'd be 5-inch stilettos. They're not going to be a low-heeled shoe. And I think that they would be embellished with the great, great Italian artistry. I think that they would be very architectural, and I think the embellishments would be 5-carat stones, incredible feathers, and probably some big ribbons to tie around her ankles. I know this is true in your life, that sometimes with friends, your lives continue to surprise you. Your lives together, your journeys together, you'll see similarities. And even when you maybe split off and do something differently, that there are many, many similarities amongst friends that are close. And these similarities are really what sustain the friendship in terms of what you choose to do, how you spend your time, where you want to go. And what's been so exciting for me is for Michael to be on the journey of Sex and the City, and for me to be on my journey as a novelist and writing novels about New York, and writing novels that take place in the heart of Greenwich Village, and many of the streets that Carrie Bradshaw would walk upon, for certain Valentine has walked in those very same places. And there's a scene in Very Valentine when Valentine is going to meet Roman for the first time, and she's stopping at a stoplight in the village, and everybody's out to party that night, and she's a working girl, and she's working in the shoe shop, and she looks out and she sees the girls in their high-heeled shoes, and to her they look like exotic birds. And I think that that's a connection that I share, or that I have with Michael, is that he writes about those exotic birds. My characters live watching those people. And they're two very different things, but both very satisfying when it comes to love and life. They're both thematically intertwined. And for his viewers and audience, and my audience of readers, I think what we're looking for is beauty and truth